Yeah.
Come on.
Look at her there. Hello, little baby.
Yes.
Hello.
Come on.
Yeah.
You have a hard day today, Mike.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
it's
it's
going
hot,
pretty
though.
good. Wasn't as hot.
No, but it's good.
It's coming home from work, you know. I was down by the state police building. I stopped at that light there, and I was in the left-hand lane. I meant to go left like to Highland Park Bridge. We're going up the road a little piece. Here this Volkswagen comes down and its tire comes off. It was connected to it, the brake drum and everything was connected to the tire. I couldn't do anything. Hit my bumper, bent my bumper back, flew over top of my car, hit the car behind it, bent his hood and busted his windshield out. It's like a Grand Marquis or something.
Yeah. Well, you know, I heard that on the radio. I was listening to the radio reports. You know, about 3 cars were involved in an accident there.
Yeah.
About 3:45.
That was probably
And
exactly
I said
right.
to that boy, I hope Washington Boulevard. I hope Mike's not in on that.
That was me.
Yeah.
Well, the cops never came or anything.
No.
I got the insurance and everything
Yeah.
off the kid. I mean, what can you do? The car's going 50 miles an hour
Oh, that's
coming down,
right.
come right off. It was like sheared off at the axle. The old Volkswagen.
Yeah,
Buck.
would be.
Come on, man. Man. Pretty. Come on. Come on. Up. Up. Smile, man.
Leave that. It was in 22 and a half months. That was 91.
Well, I came home from the service on November the 4th, 1945. And while I was in there, I always had a dream of us having a cottage somewhere on a nice stream among some big oak trees. And after I got home the following spring, I guess it was, we took a ride out to Butler County, and there's lots advertised for sale. So we went there and I looked at this one lot, and it was almost the same thing that I had almost dreamt about while I was in the service. So we looked it all over and got a hold of the owner and found out that it was available. And Grandma and I and Ray, Skip and Ray and Carol looked it all over and huddled together and decided we were going to buy it. So we did, bought it right on the spot. And I think if I remember right, there was a little bit of a clearing there. We had a little picnic.
We had our lunch
We had a
with us.
picnic lunch with us
Yeah.
on our own lot that we made a down payment on.
Yeah.
But the rest of it was a wilderness, and it was almost impossible to get through. And there had been someone apparently that came there and had a little path made down there and an open spot with a soapbox or something where we sat on. Apparently went there to fish. And it was an outside toilet back right near where that outside shed is now. And at first we didn't have any running water, and we would cross the bridge, which is now caved in, to the other side of the water stream, and we would carry the water from the spring over to our place. Then later, Mr. Nicholas had this water system put in, and we connected onto that. We had that on for a few years. Then he decided to do away with us, gave us the opportunity to either buy it or drill our own wells. We had a meeting and decided to drill our own wells, which we did.
And no gas at that
Now
time.
that-
We had no gas, no.
Okay, just
We had no
electric.
gas there, and I guess it was in August when we went out there that year, and decided that we were going to get, I think Elizabeth and Butch went along,
They went out,
brother-in-law and sister. We went out and thought we'd get started on the cottage, and this was in August, which should be hot, but it was cold and wet the whole week. In fact, we were so cold that the squires brought us up a couple electric heaters to put in there. There wasn't any heat in that cottage. That's the long cottage right next to our place there. And we didn't get any work done much.
Tell about Skip digging a footer.
We almost froze.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, then
Yeah.
later took Skip up one morning early and had it laid out for the, took Skip out there one morning and had the foundation laid out for the footer and had him start to dig out. This is after we cleared the lot off, of course. Then had him dig out for the footer. Left him out there all day. Of course, we had the tavern. I come back down and left him there. He worked all day, and then that afternoon or early evening, why Toots and I went out to pick him up. And here he was apologizing because he didn't have the whole footer dug out, but he had about 9/10 of it finished, which I never expected because there was so many roots in there. It was hard digging. The sand part was easy, but the roots in there were hard digging. So anyway, then Toots and I, we pitched in and dug out the rest of it and had that whole footer base made out in the one day then. And then after that, of course, while we built it, just as we could find time. That was every weekend work, you know, project.
But we enjoyed it every weekend. We went up every weekend and we always made a picnic out of it. Then sometimes Harry'd go up and take Ray with him. Ray was just a little kid, he'd take him with him, and of course I'd stay in to watch the tavern, take care of the tavern.
But Nicholas brought it. I mean, he said.
Well, Mr. Nicholas had a well across the creek, up across the old bridge, up on the hill.
A big spring or?
It was a well, deep
well.
well.
A big pump and a big tank up there, and he supplied, I guess 12 or 15 cottages.
Cottages.
Well, that must have
Oh,
been a big
well,
well.
was.
Real big.
But it become too burdensome for him, you know, and he charged us very little for it. He couldn't make any money on it. And he decided then to do away with it.
Just do it. Yeah.
So then that's when we go. But that water didn't have iron in it like this
No,
water
it was
does.
good water.
But I think all of these new wells that have been built up there has the
They're
iron.
all
Yeah.
Same way. Yeah, he had never took the derrick down at all, the thing for the drilling machine. He just moved it from one to the other. He
Did
built that
Tom's
little
and Chris's.
cottage there next, you know, next to Tom's. Drilled Tom's well, drilled our well, and drilled the well next door.
He could find the way the water was flowing at one thing.
Well,
It wasn't that
plenty
fast.
of water
There
there.
was a lot of water, but it was iron.
Yeah.
There was a lot of camps in there. They called them the.
Then, of course, we had a wooden dam there to begin with, and it was in there for several years, and finally it was a log dam, and the logs started working loose in that spring. The whole dam went out. And we were about, 6 or 8 years, weren't we? Where we
Shall.
didn't have the water backed up like it
No,
is now.
the deepest part was right in front of our
Right in
place.
front of
there.
our
And
place
how,
was the
wait a minute,
deepest.
with the dam out, how deep was it even still?
Well, in front of our place, it was pretty,
It was about maybe 3
Everybody used to
feet?
come over there to
oh,
swim,
more
yeah.
than that. It was
More than 3
5
feet?
Oh, yeah,
5 feet anyway.
at least.
But then we later decided to get this contracting company from Ohio to build this concrete dam in there. And they quoted us a price on it and said if they got good weather, that they could work without any high water, why, and made good time on it, they would knock some of the price off. But strangely, they did. They had wonderful weather, and they did a good job. And I forget, I think they gave us something like $1,500 or $2,000 off because they had the good weather.
They didn't run into any problems?
And of course, I was on the committee at that time for the dam, and for those of us that were on there and signed for it, we were a little bit of hot water for a while because we didn't know how much money we could get from the rest of the people.
Right.
But they came through, everybody came through, and we got enough money to build the dam and come out and clear it. And there were some dead trees. A great big oak tree was right about what's the middle of the cottage now, I think, was a great big oak tree, and dead. And we took it out, and I remember Ray, he was only a little fella. He helped, we gathered up all this stuff and had a big fire there, you know. Here he was gathering that stuff up and had poison ivy in it.
Oh,
That poor
boy.
kid, he had poison ivy from the top of his head to the tip of his toe.
Oh, man.
So,
It was like a path, you said.
There was
that
a
went
path,
down.
that's-
well, that's on our lot.
On
Yeah.
our lot.
On our lot.
Hey, how about
Oh,
anything
yeah.
on either side of that? Was there anything before you
Tom
bought it?
Welsh bought his lot the same years we bought ours. He started building the same years we did.
Okay, before that though, before anybody did any kind of building in there, whenever you got it, was there
Well,
any cottages built already?
No,
No.
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 There's one time that was a picnic
Walker's Beach. That was Walker's Beach at one time. That was a big picnic area. Everybody used to go up there for picnics.
Up where you park the cars now, that was,
Dance,
huh?
dance floor.
That's where the dance floor is. And our oak tree, your oak tree there, still has a piece of a light fixture up on it.
I remember.
Electric light. That was a spotlight, but for the high diving board. It was on our place. And that long cottage on the other side, that's where the
Bathhouse.
that was a bathhouse. That's where they changed their bathing
Clothes.
suits. And when they tore that dance floor down in some of those other buildings, that's where they built some of those cottages up beyond our place. Like the Wolfers, what's their name?
Yeah, back in there.
They built those cottages out of a lot of that lumber. Phil, when we first went up there, and we got the roof on the place, didn't even have the stairs in yet. We had a ladder going up the second floor, and I laid some of the flooring. That's in Joanne's bedroom now up there. I had the flooring laid up there. I'd take Ray up there and had a blanket and a pillow for him, you know, and let him take a rest. And one day I heard him scream, let out an awful scream. I was upstairs working and he was downstairs at that time. And he said, here, I think I half slid down that ladder.
Trying to see what was the matter.
And here was the biggest dog I ever saw in my life. He was right, he just walked in the cottage, there wasn't any doors on it. He walked in there and Ray just looked up and saw that dog and he just started screaming. And I don't know, I never saw that dog before, never saw him afterwards. I don't know, he must belong to somebody in the neighborhood there. He was a big dog. Well, anyhow, later, when we were working on the dormers up on the roof, had a sand pile down below that. And Ray, he was playing in this sand. And I thought, well, if I'm going up there, maybe the hammer will slip out of my hand or something. And
Yeah.
didn't want to fall down and hit him. So I said, Ray, I said, how about you going over there? I said, something might fall off the roof.
Get out of the way a little
Hit you. And he went over, we had that little run there when the kids played later. So he went over there and I went up on the roof and I just was ready to start nailing something and bingo, I was started down off the roof. I was on that.
Did you lose your balance?
I had that chicken ladder.
Rope.
I had this chicken ladder. And it was up over the ridge of the roof. It must not have been tight. It must have worked loose. Here come down the chicken ladder and me and the whole thing. It fell right there, exact spot where Ray was playing in that sand.
It was on a Sunday. We just come home from church. I was up there changing my clothes, and I looked out the window. There goes Dad sliding past the window.
The worst I got out was a sprained ankle, but boy, Ray was...
If you didn't tell him to move 5 minutes earlier, that would have been...
And all those logs that we have there, Mark, they came from down here to Etna, Sharpsburg, when they put that bypass in. We got those logs. There
You
used
got
to be-
Andy Cohen all in.
Yeah. I can't even see
Okay.
how you done.
Yeah.
Yeah, the log wall in the front there to hold up the bank in front of the property. We got that down there, and a lot of that was a siding. There was a coffee company down there. I guess they went out of business when they changed it. And that being a siding, those ties weren't used so much as they would on a regular track, you know.
They wanted
They
some
just
more.
pulled the rails off and left the ties there. So we got them down there and loaded them on trucks. Andy Cohen hauled them out there. Then we were ready to put up the wall. Well, we would dump them in the water and then just float them over as we needed them.
Then put them
Float
in,
them
take
over
the
and
weight
pick them
off.
up. But Ray and I put those terracotta sewer pipe, we put them down in there, filled them with concrete, and had them all level and had them measured because some of those ties were longer than others. Made it for the longer ties, you know. Had them measured, had them level.
Now what did you use did you use a concrete footer or how'd you just tie them back into the hillside? I mean, your first course.
The logs, you mean?
Yeah, the railroad
Oh, well,
ties.
you put a row or two down and then you put so many back in.
Okay, so
and
there
then
you
you cover
didn't
them
have
with
to
dirt.
make a footer or anything along the creek side for that to hold the ties.
Yeah, that concrete that we put inside of those terracotta pipe.
That was your footer.
That
so
was
it's on the
where
creek.
the ties sit on.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's that right in the mud, the terracotta pipe.
We put that pipe in the mud, as it oozed up through, we had a can, we dip all that mud out, till we got them in place, got them level.
Oh,
And
okay.
then we had that 2-inch pipe, 10-foot lengths, and we drove them down the center and then filled it with concrete.
Okay, that's what holds the weight
that's
of the
what
water.
holds it,
for one, Ann and Bill used to go up there, you know, they were
Toots and
Toots and Gert, they went up there, they were romancing then, and who else was up there? Oh, Vi and Lou, and Carol, and Bill,
Yeah,
and your mother, and Skip,
yeah.
and they used to all come up there to Slippery Rock. A lot of these young people would come and bring their boyfriends, and men would come up there. They had a lot of fun. We had a run made out there in the yard. Put the kids in the run, you know, the ones that weren't able to go in swimming. We'd take them over to the little swimming pool. The ones that could go over there, and the other ones we put in the run. So they would be safe. And Mark, I guess you remember that a lot.
That's a sandbox.
You remember the run?
That's a sandbox.
The sandbox, yeah. With sand and toys and stuff
Yeah.
in there.
Oh, I remember going in there.
Of course, your lot size is 188.8 feet long, 60 feet in the front, and 33 feet in the back. That's the original lot. Then there's a half of the second lot we bought, which would be 188 feet long, 30 feet in the front, and 16 and a half feet in the back. So that would make the frontage there 90 feet then, 60 and 30, and it would make the back 49 and a half feet in the back. That's the ones we bought from Mr. Miller. There's a reserve tract, you know, 8 feet long, 8 feet wide in front of your place there. But it says you're allowed to build a dock, a landing, and boathouse on that portion of the reserve tract which abuts the tract conveyed to the owner is 8 feet wide, reserve tract.
In other words, you can put your dock on there.
And you can't stop anybody if they want to
walk.
walk up and down past your place to other lots, or if
8
you want
feet.
to go over
Chris's.
to somebody else's, you have a right to go down there within 8 feet of the water's edge.
All out to the water.
No.
Remember you said something about you may be able to put a dock on there?
Oh yeah, that's out into the water. Yeah.
Okay, because I've seen some of them. Ours goes out 6 feet.
No,
not
that 8
even that
feet's got nothing to do with that. The 8 feet is in
It's
towards
coming
the
back
land.
in this way. Do you know if there's any kind of limitation going from the edge of the wall out to the middle of the creek? As far as going out, you know what I'm talking about? Because some of it, ours at the dock we put on is 6 feet wide.
Oh, that's all right.
But some of them are like 12 feet wide.
That could be.
You know, which I thought it was going to be in the way. We wouldn't do it because it's right on the curve there.
Yeah.
And it seems to be a little bit narrower, the creek right in there. But some of them, they go out really far. You know, like 12 feet
Oh,
out.
I think some places too, like up along the stream and that, the creek's wider there too.
It gets wider and it isn't
More
that
shallow,
bad.
it's wider.
I wondered about that, you know, because I was figuring on 6 feet, I looked at it and said, well, that might cut a little bit of the bend out. Then I went down, we rode down there, we looked at all the other people that had theirs down there. It's way bigger than that.
Oh, yeah, slip in there to begin with.
Yeah.
And that was all railroad tie walls.
Did you originally put the, want to have that boat launch or that boat storage thing in there all the time?
Yeah,
Whenever
we
you,
built it.
Yeah.
no, I mean, whenever you originally wanted that, so that was that way from the very beginning.
Well,
No, we were there a
we
while.
were there for a while before we put it in. But then we had that for several years. Then we had steps going down to it sideways.
Yeah, I
Right
remember.
into the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The full boat. You see, what happened there was being in the bend there, the water would eddy. We kept putting all the debris and the leaves and
Spin
stuff
around.
back into that thing. And it was always so mushy and full of that muck and stuff.
Every year you'd have to
And
dig
we
it
found
out.
the side, so we had the front wall built, the log wall built. We took those logs out and we made that slip. Well, whenever we decided to way up, we put logs back in the front again.
Filled that
And
all.
then had truckloads of dirt brought down there, had a fellow haul the truckloads of dirt.
I remember that's where they used to be,
Yeah.
going down there, digging
Yeah,
filling
we used to
that
have
out.
a concrete slab there with a big
Yeah.
bench there. and
You must have
we went
had
down
5 or
3
6 steps or 3
Yeah,
steps.
that's it.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Put your smile on.
Take it down. They concreted the top of that.
The county took it away.
Only on there a year when the thing collapsed. It was too heavy to hold.
To concrete over top of wood.
Yeah.
Well, they took the wood off and put concrete in.
Well,
And
they
what
did
about
up
the support on it? Supports were still wood. They didn't replace it with steel.
No, it
or
was steel. The bridge was steel.
Oh, so it was a
Had a
steel.
wooden floor.
Oh, okay.
They took the wood floor off and put concrete. That concrete that thick.
It's too heavy.
And it just, like it's collapsed of its own weight.
Too much weight.
Fortunately, no one
On it.
was on it when I
Was
told
it in the evening whenever it went
Yeah,
down?
they said that
Somebody just went over there.
they're coming home from work, you know, those people travel that way all the time.
Well, that's a big shortcut.
Sure.
Yeah, promise.
Well, I'm just.
Well, then after we got there, we got the gas put in, got the electric put in, and of course then got the well.
Where do you tap into your gas? Where do the main thing you have to tap into the gas? Up by the road?
Up at your parking lot.
Is that where it is?
Right there where that swampy place is, using the gas thing right there.
Okay.
Turn on.
No, the gas company ran it to that point, and then
Oh,
you
yeah,
had to tap
yeah,
it
we
in
ran
from
it from
there.
that point down. But there wasn't any gas in that street at all.
I used to cook
Yeah,
on
well-
one of those little gasoline stoves, one burner.
A little Coleman like.
A little
Yeah.
Camping
Yeah,
stove,
camp-
little camp,
yeah.
little one.
You sent your dad one of them over when he was in Korea.
Yeah.
It was about that big around and standing about
Looked
that.
like looked like a thermos
Oh, it's
bottle.
like a lantern. Or
No, like a
Oh.
thermos bottle. Wasn't any
It's
bigger
one
than.
burner,
Just
just like that.
bottle.
There was a burner on top of it.
Mm-hmm.
It was about twice the size of that.
And
Boy,
we
I can
didn't.
heat that thing through.
Yeah, we used to cook on
You
it.
could fold out the
Thing making legs on it.
thing,
Yeah.
yeah, to make that burner bigger too, to hold lots of many meals you cooked on that.
Oh yeah, we cooked a lot on that.
You're out in the field or stuff like that.
Oh, your dad said that was a marvelous thing. He
Yeah.
said when he left, gave it to some of the people over there.
Yeah, because
Yeah, they
you're just
appreciate it.
everything's all cold or
Yeah.
dehydrated, and it
Yeah.
doesn't, you know.
They
such
can
a
make
the way
something
it is.
hot.
Yeah, that got awful cold, I imagine.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, he was there in the winter.
Yeah, that's nothing to worry about. Does the light look okay?
Yeah.
The sun's coming the other way.
Well, now the grasses will be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the trouble with I got mine for my license, driver's license. So every time I get it, it's terrible, the reflection of the glasses.
Well, in every photograph that you're ever in with those glasses, it's all you see is a flash on
Yeah.
there. Yeah, so I figured.
Yeah. But I can't see it all the
Yeah.
time.
Well, see, I got you from a different angle
Oh,
too. So.
I know they do reflect.
So, what kind of car were you driving when you first were going to the cottage? Remember?
The
Pontiac.
Ford, was that a Pontiac?
Well, oh, it
Pontiac, blue Pontiac.
Did you have the truck then?
Not then,
Not
not then. We didn't get the truck till we come up on the hill.
later, we got the truck.
So, how did you get all your materials and have everything
Well, we
delivered?
bought a trailer, hitched it onto the car, and it was a homemade one, it didn't have springs on it. And boy, that thing was terrible. The car just kept going back and forth, jerking all the way through. We got up there and unloaded it, let it sit there, never used it again. I went up to the golf course, to Treadway. I said, "You do a lot of work out on the greens and that." I said, "Could you use the trailer kind of to pull behind you, pickup truck or car or something?" "Yeah," he said, "just what I need." I said, "Go down there and get that thing." It's sitting there. It sat there for a couple of years, didn't it?
Yeah.
So Treadway got that down. He used that a lot up on the golf course there.
I guess that's not as much shock as like a road would be, huh? It'd be good
Yeah,
for
it
a
didn't have
golf.
springs on it or anything, you know, and it just kept jerking like that. I thought I'd never get to
Well,
slip.
Cooper used to deliver the material and stuff down to Cottage.
Oh yeah, we got all our stuff delivered. Cooper, yeah, we
Now, you laid all the concrete block.
Oh yeah.
got, yeah.
You had Scully Heber do the wiring.
No,
No,
no, Eddie
no.
Clark.
Eddie Clark did the wiring.
Scully Hibbert didn't work up there.
No,
You put a paper roof on first, then a couple of years later we got Fleshner put the roof
Fletcher
on
put the
there now.
roof and the gutters on,
The one that's on there now.
and
So that roof would be maybe 3 years older than when the cottage was built.
I'd say about 3
And
years.
that's still the original roof.
maybe 4 or 5 years old. I don't know.
So that's, you definitely got your money's worth out of that roof.
Oh yeah, that's good.
40 years old.
Uh-huh.
Well, the shade has a lot.
That,
Yeah.
yeah, the sun, keep the sun off it and drying it out.
It's steep enough that the snow all falls off it too.
Now, when you dug the footer around the house, how far down below ground is that?
Well, I think we went down about 18 inches and made the footer twice, the 16 inches by 18 inches or something like that, maybe 2 foot high. And we had that Where they mix cotton? No, we mixed the cotton.
There you go, dress blouse mixer.
Dress blouse
Mixed
mixer.
that all,
That thing's been around.
Yeah.
Oh, I did have the truck too, Kate. I used to haul a lot of stuff up there
Well, it was after we moved up here on the hill.
on the truck. Yeah, yeah.
Because we were building that for
I
years.
I used to get haul a lot of stuff in there on the pickup
Yeah.
truck. Yeah.
Do you remember the time when you guys were cutting the trees down?
I remember a
Hit
red.
the power line?
Yeah, brought the
Oh,
power
yeah.
line down.
Yeah,
Well, that wasn't, what,
That was your dad and I. We cut
Yeah.
stuff. We was looking at those wires that come in on that side street there. Our wires, you know, that come in. We're deciding, you know, we cut so many trees down up on the Clearview, but we could follow those trees just about where we wanted them. Notch them and everything.
Yeah.
So your dad and I went out, we looked at, we wanted to make sure they didn't fall this way or go over the wires, you know. So we thought, well, have it just come straight this way. So we got the thing and cut it down. When it fell, boy, it just went just exactly where we wanted to go. But it was longer
Then what you
than
figured
we
it was.
thought it was.
Oh.
And it took the neighbor's line down. It went into their cottage next door there, the long marathon.
Yeah.
And it was on a Sunday, and they weren't there. And I knew that they had a refrigerator in the freezer. We didn't know really how to get a hold of them or anything. I found out that this one man lived up on that back road going to Slippery Rock, going up past the golf course and out that way, that he worked for the light company. So I went up there and made myself acquainted, and I said, well, what would I do? He said, well, he'd notify the light company, and they'd send somebody out to fix it. This was on a Sunday. So they came out, and there was two or three men. So anyway, they decided they didn't bother with the old line. They put a whole new line in from there on in, connected it up. Of course, they couldn't get inside. They didn't have to. They connected it up on the roof. It was what was fastened there. And the guy wanted to know how it happened. Well, I gotta be truthful with you. I said it was my fault. And we cut that down, and we didn't think the tree was that long that it would bother that. Didn't even think about that line at all. So I said that's how it happened. So he billed me for it. Never cost us a penny.
Oh yeah.
Never charged us anything.
Wow.
We weren't that big a user of electricity either, you know.
And when you got the boat for the cottage, you had a different boat than the one we have now.
First boat,
Oh, yeah.
the first boat we had for the cottage, we got over around Oakmont,
Over in the
on,
river, yeah.
on the Allegheny River. It was a steel boat, and it was probably a little bit wider than the boat we have there now. Maybe it was a foot or so longer too. Oh, it was a heavy boat.
Was it a flat bottom on it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a.
Didn't you take that up on that trailer here? I remember Sam Grubbs went along. And every once in a while we'd have to stop and they'd go back and check it to see if
Tied-
everything was all
Tie
right.
it down in tight.
Yeah.
I don't remember how.
Whatever happened to it?
Well, it probably just went for bad. Anyway,
Gave that to somebody, I think.
we took it over to that scrapyard there. They didn't
Oh.
even want to take it.
Oh, okay.
Well, what happened? The thing always leaks out. We always worked on
No
it.
wonder she'll never get in a boat.
You know, there was always something wrong with it. You know, we'd get it fixed, then it would leak, and then maybe the next year there'd be leaks
Another
somewhere.
crack.
It was getting old.
It was all steel.
All
They
steel.
weighed super
Take
heavy
about-
to try.
Took at least 4 or 5 men to put it in out of the
Wow.
water. That's one reason we put that boat slip in there. We put it in there and leave it there. Well, all the leaves went in there. I saw it
Sucked in.
ready, and that made that sloppy. And then all the leaves that fell off the trees in the rain. We're gonna be sitting there for a couple of weeks. Maybe go up in the boat, it'd be half full of water. You'd have to. I made a pump. Matter of fact, I got a pump if you ever want to take it up there. You used to pump the boat out if you get any water in it.
Yeah, I vaguely remember
Used to
that.
crank it. Used to crank it like this here.
Pump it up and down. It's down the shop. I
Hey.
made it myself.
We probably just took the boat over through the water.
Yeah, that's the light.
Well,
you could do
anyway,
that,
anyway, that's how that boat. Then, well, I had to call. I know I hauled it down to Charlie Major's in the pickup truck.
Yeah.
I know that. And I finally decided, well, we were short of money. We didn't have much money to go on. You try to save every dollar you could. So I thought, well, if I got them to braise weld or brace some plates on the bottom, you know, why, that would probably hold it all right, because it was starting to go bad. What did I do, turn that thing on? So anyway, I brought it down to Charlie Mazur. Now I said it was steel. I don't know, it was sheet steel. It was heavy, galvanized sheets of stuff, you know. And I said, Charlie, how about, I said, can you weld that or braze that thing there? I said, put that piece on the bottom. Well, he said it could be done. He said, it's going to take a lot of time, though. I said, well, I'm not in any hurry. Well, I see he wasn't very anxious to do it, you know. See, he had the garage down there, you know. So he got out his torch and that, you know, and he says, oh, here. He says, you can do that. I said, I never did that. He said, I'll show you how. I said, okay. So I brazed about half or 2/3 of it, I guess. And then he did the rest of it. Then we took it back up later. It was all right for them. Finally, it got so bad then, and we decided to get this one. Bought this from Andy Cleaver down there.
Bought the boat and the motor at the same time.
Is that where you got that? Was Cleveland?
Yeah,
down
Cleveland
there?
Brothers, yeah.
So we got the boat, but we bought the motor in Butler. As you go through Butler, going up on the right-hand side, the places, all those buildings are torn out there now. That's where we bought the.
And that was a brand new motor when you bought it?
Yeah.
And what was it, what year is that?
58.
58.
58. That's where we got it then.
58. No.
So anyway, and then we had the motor and the boat, and we had pretty good luck with that. But then it got to the point where there was too many kids getting up around about the same age. You want to take the boat out, and there was always arguments. Somebody'd go out and they'd keep it too long, and then the other ones would complain. And
There was never any gas. Someone had to go get gas all the time.
Always have to
Was
run
getting
and
the
get gas every week. You have to go out and get more gas.
I thought the
And then
straw
we
that came.
decided, oh, the best thing to do is,
Let them paddle.
some of them said, well, why don't you just let the boat there and they'll get a lot of fun out of rolling it.
Right.
And say, well, that's the reason to sit down here all those years.
I thought Joanne running into the tie wall had something to do
Oh,
with
no,
it.
well, no, that didn't have anything to do with it.
No, that really didn't.
But she told us she knew how to do. So I know how. My dad showed me how. What he did was let her steer it once or twice.
Yeah, fired it up.
Yeah. She couldn't get it stopped. There was another girl in
She
there.
ran right smack into the wall. Broke that front up.
Do you remember
That's
that?
all the damage done.
Do you remember the time when I think Uncle Bill told me this, but the guy was flying past the cottage in the boat with his daughter in the front and came down and hit something and she went flying out right in front of the cottage.
Oh, I don't know. We weren't there
Do
then.
you remember that?
You know,
Little kid was flying right out of the boat. He had to go in after her.
I think that same year with Joanne wrecked the boat, she wrecked that station wagon. She backed it up, she was throwing the clutch, and she'd learn to drive.
Whole car filled with kids too.
Yeah.
Dad, me, Joanne, I don't know how many kids. We're all going for a ride. Boy, did we.
Crash.
Well, now, when you first went up to the cottage, was the road paved like it is now, or was it dirt?
no.
No, it was all dirt.
Dirt.
Yeah.
Well, it was cinders and slag.
Wasn't
Something like
even
a Red Dog Road.
Wasn't
but
even
not-
Red Dog down in our place after we got in there, Nichols. Or you could put stuff in there.
Yeah, he put the red dog in.
When did he first start to develop that? Do you know?
Oh,
Was
What's
it
that?
the park? Did he have it up for sale for some time, or?
I guess it was
Oh,
up for
yeah.
sale. He sold a lot of lots in there before we built.
Before we bought.
Yeah.
At the time we put that dam in, there was then 50 cottages in there. And about 50% of them contributed to the dam. The other 50% didn't give a dime.
They're the ones that used it the most.
And as soon as the dam was in and the water was up high again, all these other people had new boats, and they're flying up and down their new boats, you know.
Because they had the money.
And the
They
ones
had the
other
money,
ones-
we didn't.
Yeah.
The ones who put the money for the dam don't have a new
They-
boat.
no,
It's the
that's-
old
that's-
one.
Well, how many cottages do you say are there now compared to that?
I think 125 or 150.
Oh, I have no idea.
Is there that many of them
No,
there
I
now?
don't think there's that many.
But now, when you say in the park, that's only on our side of
Our
the creek,
side.
not on the other
well,
side of the
the other side isn't in the park.
Right.
I don't know. I suppose there's. I don't know. I wouldn't even make a guess. But most of the cottages that are there now were there when we bought them. Most of them were there then.
Oh, there were some built down along that Red Dog Road that wasn't there when we built after we went up there.
Yeah, there was some.
So you're saying then that there were around 50 cottages there already when you first moved up there?
Yeah.
And how long do you think they had been there? Maybe 10 years, 15 years, or
I
longer?
have no idea. I have no idea.
Well, that was one of the best investments we ever made. We
Well, it
always,
kept our family together.
that's right. They
Well,
all,
every week the whole gang of us would go out there. Every
all our
week.
friends and everything. We used to have 25, 30 people there on a
Yeah.
Sunday, you know, every Sunday. You know, you don't remember when Bill and Ann them, and they'd come, they'd play
Oh, yeah.
the horseshoe pit up there in the back, and old Boxy come with his straw hat on and Toby.
Cigar.
Yeah.
I told you I remember the cut off sleeve or the
Oh, yeah.
ripped off
Yeah, he
sleeves,
ripped off, he didn't cut
the cigar,
Yeah.
the straw hat.
Uh-huh.
I remember you had, it was a blue dress with white
A little
polka
kid
dots.
whenever.
Probably.
It was always in that closet at the top of the steps.
Yeah.
I always remember that.
Yeah.
I remember some of the dresses where you kept up there, Grant.
Oh, yeah, we kept our.
White with the red polka dots.
Yeah,
on
So
it.
that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
we
Yeah.
That
Bill
was a-
used to have Bill McDowell, he had this little Chevy. It was what they called a coupe in those days, Chevy coupe. And it was kind of square shaped like, and he was kidding your dad, when your dad was little, he was kidding him about something. And your daddy got mad, he said something about that automobile that you drive, he said to Bill, he said,
We got our car.
looks like a box.
Uh,
That's when they start calling Bill McDowell
Is that
Boxy.
really
well,
got
how I
that
got the name Boxy.
from Skip.
Yeah,
Skip called him.
yeah, he said that machine always looks like a box.
Well, and after that, Bill always was called Skip Boxy, and that's how he got the name Boxy. I always called him Boxy.
Well, the nuns came up there a couple times too, didn't
Oh
they?
yeah, oh yeah. That's before they were even alive, you know.
Well, they came in a whole crew though.
Well, yeah, the whole gang of them came over from Springdale one time. They had a carload come over from Springdale.
2 cars.
Yeah, then another time some came in from Herman. They got lost. Yeah, they all did the big veils on and
Kept me busy.
I,
I just took one boatload after the other, you know, up and down the creek. Up, and there's a fail, they had the full
they did
That
the
old
big veils.
habit.
habits on them.
Come
The
back.
veils would be flying, you know. The people would be looking and looking.
I can remember looking over here and seeing a whole. You had a nice dinner or something for them once.
Oh,
there
yeah.
had to have been 15.
Yeah. They
The
came.
place was filled with nuns.
The bishop. They had the bishop's car with a siren on it.
They come around there.
They were working from the bishop. They were
We were
working.
sitting in the house, and this big car pulled around there, and woo! All of a sudden,
Rita called up and she said, what's the ambulance doing up at your place? I said, there's no ambulance up here. Oh, she says, yeah, we heard the ambulance going around.
There's a siren.
Siren going. I said, no, I said, you'd be surprised it's the nuns. I knew they were coming because I had a dinner for them. I don't know how many there was.
Well, weren't they normally allowed out?
No,
Or
they
what?
didn't. They didn't get around like they do now.
Not
They were
like now.
they were allowed out in a group, but they didn't go. They were allowed to visit. Now this was Sister Ursula. They were allowed 2 days, a day a year. And this was her one day she had out here.
See, she
brought
was stationed over at the
Bishop
bishop's
residence.
residence. And I guess the other nuns were too.
Oh, they were.
And he told them to go ahead and take the car.
So then they come out here and they hit the.
It was a big, I don't know, I forget what it was. It was a
big limousine of some kind.
Yeah, big limousine.
When you think of the cottage and all the years that you had it, can you remember what the most traumatic thing was about up there? Anything?
Well, I remember one time, right in midsummer, it got as dark as night.
Oh yeah.
And we didn't know what to think or what caused it or anything. It was absolutely dark. It's dark just like it would be at midnight. And that lasted for a couple hours, didn't it?
That was in September. It was Mom's birthday we were celebrating. The whole gang was there. And everybody was scared. We thought the world was coming to an end. We didn't know what it
We
was.
didn't know what it was.
Nuclear or something.
What? I mean, you didn't get much on the radio. We had the radio on and very little, but poor reception, you know. And finally, we did find out what it was. It was these, was it the fires up in Canada, or was it that volcanoes?
I think it was something about those fires up in
Up in
Canada.
The
I believe that's what it
forest fires up
The
there.
smoke committee made
But
it
I've
real
seen it
thick.
get cloudy and dark during the day, but never
Never
get
like that.
pitch
Pitch
dark.
black.
Just like that.
When you started going up the cottage, who was still alive then? Were your parents still alive?
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
my
And
parents
were
were.
both of your parents
No,
still
No,
alive?
Grandpap was alive, but and
My dad was alive, my mother was dead.
yeah,
My mother died right before I went in the service.
she died on February the 17th.
And I
We went
went
to
in
service
March.
March the 24th.
Yeah, she never even knew
She
I was
didn't know
gone.
he was
She
gone.
didn't even know I was
She
gone.
was dying then when he left.
She had cancer.
No,
But
she died.
Grandma and Grandpa and Grandma Clark, though, they come out there a lot.
Yeah.
My mother would have really enjoyed that. I always said to Mom, to Grandma, I wish my mother had lived to see us have a place like that, because that's just the sort of thing that my mother would like.
Well, she did go up to Venango County with us to our farm up there.
Oh yeah.
She went up there, Fort Elizabeth.
And we had what they call the grand opening when we got our liquor license. We had a beer license first, and then we got our liquor license. And there was a big hoopla, and a big we advertised and everything. It was
Free lunches and
free lunches and stuff like
some
that.
beer.
And my mother, she was down there. She was right in on that door. Everybody, when everybody knew each other, from the community here, stuff like that. They'd buy her drinks and stuff like that. I don't know whether she threw them away or not, but she never refused to drink.
We have to make business for
we
Harry.
gotta make business for Harry and Kate. Yeah, she got a big kick out of that.
So you went in the service in what year?
1944.
I thought it's when he came out.
He came out in 1945.
Okay.
He went in on February the 24th, 1944, and he came out in November the 4th in 1945. He was in 22 months, almost 2 years.
So when you went in the service, Dad was probably about 10.
Carol was 10. Your dad was last year in school down here, like 7th or 8th grade.
They're probably about 15 or.
Yeah.
Oh wait, he's born
Your
what?
dad-
31.
41.
See the times I saw your daddy grew that much. 'Cause when I was home.
Now, you didn't come home at all in 22
Yes.
months.
Oh yeah,
So
he
you
was
were
home.
able to come home.
He was home on the boot leave. He was home for 2 weeks, I think, on boot leave. And then the last time you were home, he was getting ready to go overseas. He had scheduled to go overseas, and he would have gone overseas, but they dropped the atomic bomb in August, and they was all set. In fact, he always tells you, that they were going down to the.
We had all our overseas shots, our overseas gear. We had everything. In fact, we were on the way down to San Francisco to the
Docks.
to board the ship. And oh, that was a great big, I don't know how many trucks and buses and that were in to take us down from Camp Shoemaker in California. We were going down there. And we got about halfway down, why the whole convoy stopped. And of course, we didn't know what happened. And then these officers, they came along in jeeps, coming the other way. And they stopped, said something to the driver. And then they went on. Then we went on. That's where it was changed, right then. We were supposed to go right down and board ship. And then the orders were changed. We were to go down there and go to the camp, to the camping area there, until we got further assignments. That's how close it was.
So you might have been a matter of an hour or so. You have been on that boat.
Ship.
They was on their way to Saipan.
Yeah.
Saipan. We were supposed to
Now at that time, you would have been in your early 30s, mid 30s.
36.
I was pretty old.
Yeah, you were older than most.
Yeah.
Yeah,
was
all the
36.
guys call me Dad and Pat. But that didn't make any difference. You had to go through the same thing.
No, once you.
These kids, they'd get out and run and jump and climb ropes and all that stuff. They were having a ball, most of them, Boy, with me, that was
Killing
rough.
yourself.
That was hard work,
Yeah. Now, did you go into? You have two. Did you have to go to the military twice?
No, he
Or
was
just
in
the one. They just drafted you at 36 for
the 44.
and 44. I mean, at age 36.
I think the 36, yeah.
Getting back to the cottage, when you go up to the cottage, you say your parents both went up there.
Oh, yeah.
And, I mean, there was a place they enjoyed? And
Oh, they enjoyed it. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
They enjoyed going up there all the time. I got pictures, I think, of taking Mom and Pap taking their Mom's birthday with a birthday cake. And oh, they.
That's the infamous pictures I never get to see.
Well, I don't know. Susie Squires got the. I got them in there now, Mark. I got the. And I gave Rita came and picked out what she wanted. She had prints made, and each one of her kids, you got to see Susie's got such a nice assortment of them all in frames and that, And I have them all in there. I'll show them to you. I got them in an envelope in there. And
She had the negatives
she had
made.
negatives made, and she said if I want any of them, let her know, and she'd have them. I could have the negatives if I wanted them. And I said, well, I'm sure that you'd want some of them. I know Ray wants some.
What I'd like to do is get an assemblage of photographs of Slippery Rock events that occurred prior to us buying it.
Yeah.
Because I want to do like a picture thing. You know, just like everything that's going on
Like
over
a
the
collage
years.
or
Or whatever,
something.
yeah,
Oh,
just-
you
yeah.
just get a message.
Oh yeah, and
at the
Mary used
time
to come
frame.
down from Cleveland.
She had a couple of
Bring her
boyfriends.
boyfriends down. They'd come down there. They liked to golf. You could just the golf course then. They'd come down there and golf and spend the weekends there.
What about parties?
Oh, we had a lot of
What
parties.
about parties that Dad had?
Huh? Oh yeah, your dad used to have.
Spaghetti on his shoe?
Yeah, well, he allowed. Well, I'll tell you. See, he was in high school then, and when when school was over, the boys would go up there, and we allowed them to go up there, but on their honor though, because they weren't. Some of them weren't very old, and he was always responsible for them. But I made spaghetti sauce up and all kinds of stuff, you know, for them to take up, and the whole Pete McGreevy and Bob Cannon and Jim Curry and that Stritzinger. He's dead now. Stritzinger's dead. And your dad's buddies would all go up there, you know, and we went up there. Of course, they went up on Friday. We went up on Sunday, and then we went up there. Why, your dad he was making the spaghetti on the ceiling. He had the sauce on the stove, and he cooked the spaghetti and dumped it in, and it flopped up. It was all over his shoes. But they had a good time
Then
up
there was
there.
an amusement park up there then, you know, down there
Rock
below
Falls Park.
Rock Falls Park. And they used to have that big sledgehammer there, you know, you hit that thing, you know, and it'd go out and ring the
The
bell.
dinger.
Your daddy could
Give me those dang
come
old cigars.
haul a handful of the cigars. You want a cigar, you rang the bell.
Yeah.
He came to Bill McDevitt. Bill smoked it.
Was that place ever nice?
Yes, it was
In its
very.
heyday?
They had a real nice
And a roller
dance floor,
skating
roller
rink, and a
skating
nice
rink,
roller-
and there was always a lot of young people in there. The merry-go-rounds and
Oh,
the
yeah.
rides and everything in there.
There used to be a pool down there.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
nice
yeah.
swimming pool. That was really nice.
yeah, that was
That's
nice.
the reason all the young
Yeah, it
people liked
kept
to go
going
up there.
downhill, more.
And then
Now, would that have been in its heyday before you bought up there, or during that initial
During
period?
that time.
Before we bought it was there.
it was there, but then it was there while we were there too.
So
And
would you have said that
And
its
there's a lot
heyday
of
might have been in the
cottages
20s?
I'd say so.
There's a lot of cottages around that too, if
Yeah.
you drive
Oh
down
yeah,
there.
we've been
We
down
went
there.
down there.
There's
I was
some
amazed I
nice
made it
stuff
one time.
Yeah.
down towards the very end of it.
Oh yeah.
That guy built a real nice pavilion down there.
Then Carol would take her friends up. This was just girls and just boys at that time. Of course, we don't know. They might have had girls there too, you know, but not when we were there. They'd go down to Rock Falls Park.
These girls at the nurses training, Carol was with, they had a swim team down there, and those girls went out there one time, and that bridge used to go across there, they dove off of that bridge into the water there.
Wow.
They
Oh,
swim
they
in
could
formation. They had a show, water show, down
Yeah, they
at
dove
St.
off that
Francis.
doggone
It
bridge.
isn't that deep there, you think.
Oh,
You
yeah.
think it'd hit
Well,
bottom
if
or
you know how to
something.
dive right, I guess it
That's
I didn't have any
what
trouble.
it was.
What about like the highest you ever remember the creek?
Well,
Nice.
where that one, where the first
Up-
fir tree is up there, Christmas tree, that little one. I guess that's still there.
Or the big oak tree, the one that,
You tie the boat on.
No, half
No,
by
no,
half.
no,
Well,
by
that still has a
yard.
light
the
on
big
it.
tree there that has the swing on it.
Oh yeah.
It went up past that towards the cottage, maybe 3-4 feet.
I remember when
That's the highest
that
I
Now,
was
was that when it was water or frozen?
It was
Water.
frozen. It was an ice
Well,
jam.
That's so far up that you could see where the water
Yeah.
line. It wasn't there when the water was up, but you could see the
But
water
the ice
line.
came up on the lawn there.
The ice was up on the lawn, it was
Yeah.
ice that thick up on the lawn,
Yeah.
above the wall. And there was even sand up there, on top of the
Sandbar.
log walls. There was a sandbar along there and then,
So that probably definitely caused some people some damage.
right.
Oh, those
They
people
aren't as
down,
high.
Fishers and them down below, they always
yeah.
got flooded out.
Well, I remember in '73 they had that. Remember when the ball field flooded out here?
Yeah.
We took it right up there. And that was halfway up the yard.
Yeah.
Water. Wasn't
Yeah.
ice. It was water running through that.
So did Agnes.
'73.
The Agnes flood.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But
Well,
we
that
never
was
had
a
that
hurricane.
problem with
So we never did. It was always dry in there.
So nobody really knows how old the beach house is then.
No.
It's always been there as long as you knew. Now Wolford's house seems to be fairly newer.
Well, that, I think that was built maybe around the time they tore that,
Dance pavilion.
that dance pavilion down.
Wolford's
What?
house?
I think so.
I don't know, but
Or the beach house?
No, the beach house was there when that dance pavilion was there, because that was where they changed their clothes. That was the beach house there.
that big house there, that's been remodeled about 2 or 3 times since.
Well, you
we
know,
were
Chris, what's his name, next door, he told us he used to go up there to Walker's Beach when he was a young fella. And up there, and he said they had good times up there in Walker's Beach. I know.
But we don't remember that.
I never was there when it was.
It was probably there, but we didn't.
It was there.
How did you know to get down that road? Was there a sign that said
Yeah,
lots
there
for
were signs
sale?
up on the old road there going to.
And what were you doing out that way anyway?
Well, we were
looking
just
for a place.
You didn't have any idea that you were going
didn't
to
know where
stumble
we were
across
going.
this.
The week before that, we'd been down to down Maryland, not Muddy Creek.
Ocean
Creek?
or
Deep Creek.
Deep Creek.
And oh, Mark, the lots they had down there were terrible. They were so steep.
Way up on the hill.
On the
I was
hill.
Sure, you had to go steps.
And it was so far down there, such a far ride.
And it was hot. Traffic was terrible. Now
I-
we've got better roads and
I said to Harry, well, I think maybe we'll go north now, someplace where it's not too far. And we were really looking maybe around Muddy Creek, because I know there used to be Cottage in that, you know. But we went up that way, and there was a sign out there. And Dad said, let's go down there. And we stopped at the brow of the hill there. Remember?
stopped on the bridge.
On the bridge, huh?
The bridge that was there. Looked downstream. Got a picture in there. You can see it. Looked downstream, looked upstream, and saw that little curve in there and those big oaks. And boy, oh boy, that's just what I thought. You'd like to have. Of course, we thought, well, then we had these signs. He had a sign with arrows, you know, when you go down, and then the arrows fall clear up right to his house. And,
That was just a little farmhouse up there then. He only stayed there in summertime.
yeah, it's a big house now.
Mhm.
In fact, he showed me the plans for that before he.
What made you decide to build a Cape Cod house? I remember you saying one time, and I know which design you're talking about, but that you had always thought that that was a nice design house.
What, Cape Cod?
No, there was another. Remember the one?
Oh, Valonia.
Valonia.
Yeah,
Like this and across.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what compelled you to make a Cape Cod as opposed to something like
Because we
that?
were-
Well, I don't know.
Well, that was a style then too, I think.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
style.
so, yeah, a lot of
In the 40s, there were a lot of Cape Cods.
look more like a cottage thing too, cottage type.
What's that Valonia style? Is that like a cross?
That's
Bill
Haber's-
Haber's house, where Gene Haber lives. That's a ready
Up on
cut
the-
house.
Right straight across.
Okay.
there,
That's one of those
across
Sears
from
Roebuck's ready cut.
The reason we're talking about that back in those days, we knew there was different style houses because that's the house that I built was a Sears Roebuck's.
Oh, it was a prefab, like
Yeah.
sort of.
Yeah.
And you just left.
Pre-cut.
Pre-cut.
Yeah, when I was 16 years old, I built that house. It's still up across from Beaches,
Thunder
down
Avenue.
that road there from Beaches. It was 4 rooms and a bath, and I think they added another room onto it since, I'm not sure.
Oh, Mark, do you remember when the bats, we used to have the bats up there, the flying squirrels in the cottage and bats.
The bath's too.
Boy, you know, it wasn't finished inside. We
They
just
could
go up
get
there
in
and just
not easy.
get it with no nothing to stop them. And at nights you hears a lot of screaming. It would all stick pillowcases
Yes.
on our head.
It wasn't spiders and bugs, it
Bill,
was
yeah,
bats.
Bill humming almost hit Dad over the head with the
Yeah.
broom.
Bill had the broom. We're trying to get this bat, and he's flying back and forth across the living room up there, you know. All we try to get him out the window is what we're trying to do, or kill him, get him one way or another. And Bill's got this broom, you know. And he'd go past Bill and take a swat at him. He didn't hit him or anything like that. And then he turned around and he come the other way. Bill swung that thing again, and I just right over. Right
That
over.
almost reminds me of the chopper story. Wasn't that you that let out a sneeze and your choppers went flying across the floor?
Oh, no, I don't
You were
remember
false
that.
teeth?
Don't you remember
I
that?
remember Dad did it.
Maybe that's who it was.
It's a
Dad.
supper table. He
Dad,
sneezed.
your dad.
Whoa.
Somebody did up there and they went flying across the floor.
Probably your dad, because he
No, it
used to have
wasn't
trouble with
me.
his. He used to have trouble with his.
Now that shows you how much difference like the economy of the time too. When you built the cottage, was just 2 years difference from when you built your house.
That's right.
But yet, if I remember right, you're talking about not being able to get windows.
No, that's right.
Well, that was there was still restrictions on from the war. You couldn't buy, unless you had a special permit on account of the war. Everything was short. Meat, sugar, lumber, builder supplies, everything.
So that's why you decided to use concrete block?
Up there, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you have built it out of something else if you would have had the option?
Well, not necessarily, no.
Because I think that was an excellent choice of materials
I
for
do
the
too.
woods.
That's right, because you
But
don't
you
worry
see,
about
you
termites.
couldn't go to, I couldn't go to Alls, for instance, to buy lumber or anything for up there. So we had this wagon shed up in Bakerstown, and the roof was just caving in. And I wanted to get rid of it anyway, so your dad and I went out there, and we were tearing it apart to get the lumber out of it for the sheeting. Previous to that, I'd gone to a local mill up there, lumber mill up there, right out of Slippery Rock, small operation. And I asked a man down there, I said, I want to build a cottage, and I said, I don't have any permit, couldn't get a permit for that. And I said, will you sell me the lumber? Do I have to have a permit? Oh, no, he says. I'll sell you all the lumber you want. So that's the reason that's got oak, rafters and floor joists and everything in there are oak. And then the sheeting on the roof came off of the black shed of Bakerstown. While we were tearing that shed down, Mrs. Reed rented from us there. She come out and got a call. It was at the when Uncle
Ray
Ray.
Paul died.
Mary's
Mary's
husband died. She said, just got a call from her. Says your brother-in-law down in Cleveland died. It was Mary's husband. Your dad and I were tearing that shed down.
So then you were just building a cottage when that happened?
Yeah. He never did get to see the cottage.
So then I rented a truck and took all that lumber out in the truck. In the meantime, I went down to Alls and they couldn't sell me any ready-made windows frames. They could sell me the sash and that, but not the frames. So John Inks, he was in the planing mill down there. He said, I'll make the window frames out of this 2-inch lumber. He said, we can do that. It was always crazy getting around to do that. So he got that, and then I bought the sash. And I had all that stuff on that truck, and I went through Butler and went up that hill. It never seemed very steep to me before when I went up in the car, and I got that thing loaded down, that truck loaded down. It wasn't a pickup truck, it was a big truck, you know. But I remember I kept putting down lower gears to get up over the hill with that kind of thing. Got all the material out there. Those days you didn't have to worry about things. Took it out there and stored it there. Nowadays you can't do that. You go the next day and it'll be gone.
Yeah.
Joanne was just telling us that the Coletes people there, they had material out on a job somewhere and it was all taken, all stolen. Nails and different things that they had, lumber. But anyway, that's how that got built.
Now you got some of the flooring from where though?
That, from that mill up there.
From the barracks.
No, I didn't get that
No, I
up
thought
there.
that came from
No,
the
I got
nuclear.
that,
Didn't that come from the same shipment that you got the flooring for here?
no.
Well,
Oh, that
the
was downstairs.
The
Yeah, that was
downstairs
later.
did, but not the upstairs.
See, that was concrete floor for 2 years before we put that. No, that's tongue and grooved fir, yellow pine, I guess it is upstairs. I forget how I got
Maybe
that.
Cooper's later on.
I think I got it up there at that lumber company.
But you didn't get it on the same shipload that you got.
No.
No.
But we got enough for the iron house, and Butch Wagner got enough for his house.
But when you did put the flooring in on the first floor, it was brand new flooring.
No.
It was used.
No, it was used.
Jews, that's where they made the atomic bomb.
Well, this is what I'm confused about. I just
Down in
asked you that.
Tennessee.
Down in Tennessee.
This fellow that owned the golf course up there, Treadway, that I give that trailer to. Well, Treadway found out that these barracks where the people stayed when they were building the atomic bomb in Tennessee,
Tennessee, Oak Ridge.
Oak Ridge, Tennessee. He found out that these buildings were being sold. So he went down there and he bid on this oak flooring. But before he bid, he got into one of those buildings. They were open, they weren't using them then. But he got in and got through a window or something. He got in there and took some tools and he lifted them up. And he found out that they were all weighing on a cork floor, a couple inches of cork. And they were nailed into the cork. And he found out that he could lift them right up out of that cork without much damage. And he bid on that on several of these big barracks down there, and he got it. when he hired crews down there to lift that flooring, take the nails out and bundle it, and then he would advertise, like in the Pittsburgh Press. Next Thursday or so and so on, I'll have 2 or 3 carloads of oak flooring lumber and the siding at Allison Park. We had siding here then, you know. And so I meet him down at in Pittsburgh at the siding. And all around different places, he'd advertise like that. You'd have to bring your own truck, buy it right there on the spot and pay cash for it and haul it away. And you got it at a pretty good price. And he made a lot of money on it. He got it for, you know, very little money. So that's how we got
So
it.
that's where the flooring for the first floor of the cottage came from.
That's right. The flooring for our house came from
Here?
there.
And for
I think
part of
it's a couple of living room, I think, is hardwood over there.
And Aunt Elizabeth's house
Up
up there.
And the fire hall down here.
The fire hall.
the old fire hall.
The old fire hall. And when they were unloading it, Ray Chisler was only, he was a young fella, he just come out of the service too at that time.
Yeah.
He died of a heart attack unloading that.
Unloading that
out the
lumber.
fire hall.
You see, we took it, stored it up in Beach's garage, because they only had one car then. We didn't realize that it was drawing dampness. When we put it in, it was as tight as the drum. After it dried that way, the cracks opened up. That was a badness. That was my fault. I should have known better than that. I should have made sure it was dried out. Oh no, he sold, Treadway sold an awful lot of that lumber. Oh, man. It was good.
It's funny how fate situations like that occur. You just
Yeah.
happen to see the lot, just happen to.
Yeah.
Oh, we huddled. We just went like that. Everybody said, "Oh yeah, let's buy it, let's buy it."
Well, the kids right away are going to be
Oh yeah,
excited.
and so happened. Grandpa had a couple traveler's checks in the service. He carried, you know, in the service with him. He had a couple traveler's checks with him, and that's what he used to hold us for down payment. Nicholas said it wouldn't matter, any amount would hold him until we got. Come Holland made some arrangements, you know, get money out of it, and that's how.
Had the title exam.
Yeah.
Yeah, did Mr. Nicholas, did he buy all that land at one time?
Yeah.
He inherited that from his dad.
No, no, he bought it.
Oh, he did?
Did he buy that?
I thought he inherited
No,
that from
he
his
bought
father.
it. No, he bought it.
Now, how much would that cover? That just the park area? Would you say maybe 2 square miles or?
No, really, I don't know.
It's
It
hard to
was all
say.
on-
It's
it was
unusual.
up there.
Well, I think it's a pretty good accounting
Think so?
of the cottage.
The
Yeah.
downstairs bedroom, you know, we call it the honeymoon room. It was the only place in the house with a door on it.
So you should have named your bedroom the honeymoon room.
Yeah, we should have. There's no door on that.
Well, regardless.
Young people slept in the one downstairs.
Ralph Nicholas, in his later years, and we put the dam in. Before we put the dam in, he was driving. I don't know, it was a big Cadillac or a big Chrysler or something. A big car anyway. And we were dickering on this dam, you know. And like I said, I was on a committee. And Ralph, Mr. Nicholas, he said, "Well, don't bother driving." He said, "I'll stop and pick you up." He was having a meeting in Pittsburgh. So I went, okay. So I think I met him down on the highway. Then we come home, he said, "Well, I'll take you up to the house." Well, and when he come around, he got too close to that stone wall and he scraped the whole side of his car on that stone.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he didn't cut in a little too
He
close.
wasn't too good a driver anyhow.
Well, that was a big deal when he put that. That was another thing too, you know, I was on that committee for, you know, close to 30 years. And then you'd have these doggone meetings and you'd go up there on a Sunday, you know, to spend some time, and I know it used to make Graham mad, you know, well, and then I'd have to go up to the meeting, maybe it'd last a couple hours or something, you know.
All afternoon.
Or maybe all afternoon, you know, we'd go up to Nicholas's or to Hap's place, either one, he had his son. And then it got, I was trying to get somebody to take that job, I couldn't get anybody to take it, so what's one of those thankless jobs, you know?
Yeah.
Somebody has to do it, you know. So then later, then, I guess it was when your dad died, after your dad died, then I just automatically quit going to the meetings, that's all. Because I didn't have the same heart for things that I did before, you know. We used to go up there, they had those mosquito things and,
I remember going up, we
Yeah.
had Saturdays, we'd go and spread them pellets out,
yeah.
you know, and then go into the swamps, right?
Well, see, they got rid of a lot of that swamp now, you know.
The mosquitoes aren't really that bad anymore. They must have bad drainage here or something
They
that
did,
just laid in
yeah.
there.
Well, across the road from where that pond is at now, you know, that used to
Oh,
always.
that's my area, that's where I had to go
remember that.
into. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Well,